Peggy from prettypapercards.com. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and I'm here with my little dog Ellie, and we are ready to show you how to make a fun card today. How are you all doing? I hope you might leave me some comments and let me know. Here in San Diego County, California, it's actually cool today, in the low 70s. And in May, we usually have a thing called May Gray, May Gray, where it gets cool mornings and the ocean clouds kind of come in, and then it usually clears off by noon. Well, today it didn't clear off, so we've had actually a lot of May Gray today, but finally it's cleared up here at the end of the day at 4 o'clock. And so we are raring to go. So I hope you're all doing well, whether you're staying at home or getting out a little bit now. I can't believe it's the end of May. It's just shocking that it'll be June next month in just a few days. And I don't know if you're feeling the same way. I told my husband we better start getting our Christmas list going. So, well, last week you guys did such a great job sharing. I'm so thankful that you shared. We had 8 shares last week, shares of the Facebook page, and I'm so thankful that you did that. It really helps me and I really appreciate it. And our giveaway for sharing last week was this neat stone 3D embossing folder. Let me get it on the right side. Stone 3D embossing folder, and out of the 8 shares I did the random number generator, and Marcia Fant, F-A-N-T-E, won the gift, this embossing folder. So Marcia, if you would contact me at Peggy@prettypapercards.com, and I'll give me your address, and I will get your embossing folder out to you right away. I so appreciate your sharing, everyone. And this week I have 2 prizes like I did a couple weeks ago. And the 2 prizes are, one, and Ellie likes this ribbon. This is the beautiful metallic edge ribbon in, let me see if I can get it so you can see it, in petal pink. It is beautiful. And there was a time when we couldn't get it, and it is retiring on June 2nd. So if you like this ribbon and you'd like a bolt of it, this bolt, share the Facebook Live with some of your friends anytime between now and next Friday, and I will send that to you. Now, the other gift that I have this week, in just a minute, I'm going to check and make sure that I'm on live. I always like to check, and that's where I read your comments. So I want to see what's going on here, if you guys are commenting and how you're doing. So there we are. Okay. We've got 7 people watching now. Good. So I'm glad you're on. So the next gift for next week, the second gift for sharing, is a pressed petal journal. These journals are so nice. It's embossed on the front with flowers, and it has beautiful pages inside. Now I'll show you what I did with mine, and I want to show it to you. Ellie needs to check it out. This is what I did with one of mine. I've made several, and I covered it with different Magnolia paper, the Magnolia Designer Series paper, and tied it with some pretty ribbon, and I'll show you the insides. I hope this is a page that has something going on. Let me see. It's a little hard to do one-handed. Here it is. All the pages have different patterns on the inside, and so I think it's really neat. I think it's a beautiful journal. So actually, I'll tell you what, I bet you would like this journal better than the one that you decorate. When you share, tell me a note whether you would prefer the journal that you decorate yourself or the one that I have decorated, and I'll give that to one of you who say that you want the journal if you've shared. And if you'd rather have the ribbon, the bolt of petal pink ribbon, indicate that if you've shared, and that way I'll give it to those who really want those 2 gifts. Otherwise, I'll just decide on my own. But you'll get something nice for sharing next week, and I really thank you for doing that. So we're gonna say goodbye to Ellie. She's gonna get down on her little pink leopard blanket. Hi, girls. Hey, Robin and Christy, good to see you. Okay, now I want to show you something beautiful from my garden today. I have been working on growing gardenias. Let me see if I can get it to go the right way. And these are 3 gardenias in my front entryway in a pot that I was able to pick today, and I want to get them right up next to the camera. You would not believe how yummy these gardenias smell. I have a few buds that are falling off. If anybody has any hints for growing gardenias, let me know. I'd love to see them because I know I could do better, but I am just thrilled that they're blooming. I am thrilled to have them, and so I brought them in here to give a lovely scent while I'm stamping. I know you can understand that. So now I hope you're all aware that beginning next Wednesday, June 3rd, we go live. The new annual catalog goes live, and I can't open the pages of it yet, not until June 3rd. But here it is. Here's the cover, and we're going to use some of the things, some new things. We're going to do some sneak peeks today on our Facebook Live in the card that we're going to make. And I just want to, if you haven't gotten a catalog yet and you're one of my customers, let me know. I've sent them to everyone who's purchased from me in the past 6 months. So email me if you still need a catalog and didn't receive one. All right, so the card we're going to make today is a modified Z-fold. Do some of you know what a Z-fold is? I'll show you. This one pulls out, and it also has, I want to see how to show you exactly. There we go. So it stands up and it pulls out in the front. Let me turn it around and see if that makes a little more sense. So it's very neat, I think, and I think it's fun to receive. And so when you put it in your envelope and when someone receives it, it's like this. And then they open it up. There's a place to write in here, and they can also write when they open the card in the normal way. And so we're going to learn to do that today. I thought you might like it. And we're also using some new products. We're using the Flowers for Every Season 6x6 Designer Series paper. And we're going to use the Lovely Labels Pick-a-Punch and the Lovely You stamp set. Isn't that cool? So let's get ready. Okay. Here we go. To start out with, and I know I say I'm going to put the measurements down below, and sometimes I don't. This time I promise I will put them in a comment underneath for you, so that you can see what the measurements really are, because there are quite a few. I'll read them off to you as we go. So to start out with, you need basically 1 sheet of 8.5 by 11 Whisper white paper. You're going to cut it in half down the middle at 4 1/4 by 11. You're going to score in the normal method at 5 and 5.5. And let me get out my bone folder here so I can burnish that. The other one, the second one, you're going to fold in half at the 5.5 mark as normal. But then on one side, you're going to score in half again, and that is at the 2 3/4 mark, and that is what is going to create our Z fold. And they say that because it looks like a Z, right? That one looks like a Z. So, but I wanted mine to open up too. So what we need to do is we need to adhere the one card on top of the other so that we have a card base, and then the Z fold part pops up. Hey Patricia, good to see you. So that's what we're going to do today. So I'm going to get out my trusty multi-purpose glue, and we're going to glue the one half of the card to the other one. And truthfully, I might be getting that a little thick. I want to keep it pretty thin. And then we're going to slide that right under like that, and adhere the two together. And again, I love the glue because we can move it around a bit. Now I'm going to press that down and make sure it's adhered, because now we're going to start decorating. And make sure that it folds up. There we go. So there is our Z-fold card. And now we're ready to decorate it. And we're going to decorate it with the Flowers for Every Season designer series paper. Now before, I'm going to use something different than I used on my sample. And before we start that, I just want to show you some of these beautiful papers. Look at these. They are absolutely gorgeous. They use all the in colors. And then here's the back. Let's look at the back of them. And they're a little plainer. And I like that because of what we're doing today, how we're going to reverse the sheets that we're using. And it comes in 6x6, Flowers for Every Season. Absolutely gorgeous. So the pattern we're going to use today is this real pretty daisy pattern, and the back of it is a blue, kind of a blue little dots. Not exactly polka dots, but blue dots. Hey Lori, good to see you. So this is what we're going to use, and the first thing to do is we're going to start with our back and glue this piece right on what is going to be the back of our Z-fold card. And again, with the multi-purpose glue. These are really fun cards to give. People love them because they're unusual. So we're going to get that on there. I need to get my glasses on here to make sure I get that right at the edges, because this piece is a 5.5 by 4 1/4 piece of the designer series paper, and I used actually 3 pieces of designer series paper on this, the 3 6x6 pieces. So that's our background right there. Now, let me see. And you know what? If you find that you cut a little over, it doesn't look like I did, but you can always trim that side, right? So now we're going to put on our other pieces of designer series paper. And for the inside here, we're going to put on the reverse of this beautiful daisy, the blue polka dot. You don't have to. This is just the way I think it looks nice, because you know the colors coordinate. It just gives an interesting, just an interesting diversion. This piece is cut at, let me see my measurements, 4 1/4, because it goes the whole distance, by 2 5/8. And so we've got that on there. Now let's do our front, our very front piece. And now we're going to start using our cardstock. So here is some Bumblebee cardstock. I told you these patterns go with our new color, in color designer series papers. And so we're going to have a base of Bumblebee cardstock, and that's 4 by 2.5. And then this time we're going to have our pretty pattern show, and this piece is 2 1/4 by 3 3/4. And again, I will put them in the comments, I promise, and it'll be maybe a little more clear. There are a lot of measurements going on here. So there's that, and we're going to glue this onto the very front, leaving a little border of the Whisper White cardstock base. There we go. To see if we can get that even. Isn't that really pretty? I love these patterns. If you like flowers, and I do, you'll love these patterns. So there's basically the base of our card. Now, what we're going to do, the next thing I did is I tied a ribbon around this section. You don't have to, but I think it's kind of pretty, and I use the contrast. We have ribbons in all the colors, all the new designer series in colors, or rather just in colors. And so I think it's pretty to use one of those the contrast. The paper they had on the back was in blue, so I'm going to use that. Can you see? Okay, there we go. And I'm just going to tie a bow around, and I'll tell you the reason I'm doing this, that I'm using this ribbon, is because, and I'm doing it on live, is because it's super easy to tie. It really is. It's very moldable. It's not stiff at all. It's real easy to tie a bow. And it should be. let's make sure. I might have to get my head down here to reach in and get that. There we go. Let's see. I might have to do it again. I just have to get my head down here. Apologize if you're seeing my hair and maybe a few roots going on there. Okay. I usually don't have any trouble tying bows. But of course, if I'm live, I'm going to have a problem. Don't laugh. I know you all have problems too, tying bows. I mean, it's not a problem. It's just you really want to get it going in the right direction. And I think that's part of my problem here is I want to get it going in the right direction, and that makes it turn out right. There we go. Okay. So I'm going to pull the loops down, pull tight again. I think this, you know, blue and yellow always look good together. That's a little tip for you. If you're using blue on a card, particularly a dark blue, this is our beautiful new Misty Moonlight. But if you're using navy or any of the darker blues, yellow is a beautiful contrasting color. So I'm just going to trim off those little tips there, the little edges. Now look at how much it's coming together already. And of course you could do anything with the front. This is just what I've chosen to do. Okay, now the next thing we're going to do is go ahead and put one piece of Whisper White. No, I'll leave that for a bit until I stamp. So the next thing to do is to put to start stamping and to start putting our sentiment up here. Now this piece of the contrasting, the back side of the DSP, was cut with the Stitch So Sweetly dies. You know, if you've been listening to me very long, these are my favorites, and I use this particular die. I love the shape. And so I'm going to center this and on my on the card front, and that will help me know where to put my sentiment. I'm going to fold up my base there, whoops, and then I'm going to center this piece right there so I know it's going to turn out right when I get my card all finished. Okay, there we go. Now we're getting ready to stamp, and we're going to use the lovely used stamp set. This is a brand new stamp set, and the lovely Labels Pick-a-Punch. This comes as a bundle in the new catalog. Maybe I'll turn it over so you can see. It is very cool. The sentiments are made to work with the labels. And if you can see, I know there's a little glare on there. There are two different label edges. One is a little more pointed in a way, and this one is flat. So you can create either one of those ends for your labels. And then it has, for each style of label, it has 3 grooves. So you can do a label that's 1 inch wide, 3/4 of an inch wide, and 1/2 inch wide. And it took me a minute to learn how to do this, right? So what I'm going to do is make the labels first, and then I'm going to do the stamping. So this is a piece of our Bumblebee cardstock, and it's 1 inch wide. I'm going to use the more flat label end for this particular piece. And you can see it fits right in that groove. So I'm going to push it in on that particular groove, and you get it under the stamping part, and then you look back here so that you can see it. And there it's coming up. Do you see it in there? Right in there next to my fingernail? And what I do is I make sure that all the part of the label punch is within the label, so I get a nice punch. And then just punch that out. And then we're going to go ahead and do the other edge. So we're going to just start by sliding it in under, and then look on this side for it to appear. There we go, punch. Okay, so that's our back piece, our kind of lining piece. And now we're going to do the piece that we're going to stamp on. And truthfully, I'm going to stamp afterward, and I have 2 of these Whisper White pieces in case I make a mistake. And now for this one, we're going to use the more pointy edge. And this piece is 1/2 inch wide. So it goes in the 1/2 inch groove. And again, I turn it over and it looks perfect. Punch. Isn't that cute? Let's see if I can get it so you can see it. There we go. Do you kind of see how that is a little bit pointier? Okay, now let's do it again on the other side. I'm just going to slide it in. And there it comes up. Punch. There we go. And this fits very nicely right inside that bumblebee piece. Isn't that cute the way it does that? Now, here is the question. Am I going to be able to stamp my stamp without having it tip one way or the other? It's a little bit of a tricky one. I think it really doesn't matter. The one I'm using here is Wildly Grateful. I think that's fun. Wildly Grateful. So let's see if I can get it even on this Whisper White piece here. Okay, here we go. And I have another piece if it doesn't come out quite right. Not too bad. I've been kind of practicing. You know, every stamp is a little, has its own little quirks, and with this one I learned that you have to just tip it a little down to the left, and that turned out pretty well, didn't it? Okay, now we're ready to, I'm going to go ahead and glue this down first. This bumblebee base for the sentiment. I could lift it up on dimensionals, but I'm not going to. This time I'm going to lift the white sentiment part up. So I'm going to glue that down, and I think it fits pretty well inside those edges, leaving a little blue border there. And then we're just going to put 3 Stampin' Dimensionals on the back of our sentiment. And I really love the way the colors all look together, and when one color lines the other color, I think it's really pretty. So this one I'm just going to put right down in there. Isn't that cute? That's how that punch works, and I think it's just beautiful. I'm going to pull it up so that you can see it a little better. Isn't that neat? I just love it. And now you don't have to do this, but if you want to, for this section, I have a white piece that I'm going to put a few stamps on from the stamp set. You don't need to, because you have the inside of the card for writing in there. But I don't know, I just thought it would be a nice, another place to write. If I had thought ahead, it would be a fun place to put a pocket for a gift card, wouldn't it? I didn't think that far ahead. So this stamp set has some very cute little flowers and leaves here. And I'm going to go ahead, I've got 2 of them already mounted on my clear blocks, and I'm going to stamp them in crushed curry. And I'm going to put, I think I'm going to put this one on. And I noticed I have to look carefully to make sure that the ink gets on all the parts of the stamp. I don't like to slam it into the ink, because then that doesn't work out well either. That's cute. And now we'll put another one on the other side. And it looks like I had a little bit of ink up in here, so I'm just a bit picky about that. So I'm gonna put my flower there, and then we can just glue this part right onto the inside, and it just gives you another little place to write. And you know, I always post my Facebook Live videos on my blog and give you more pictures and more specifics on Monday, so be looking for that on Monday. So isn't that kind of cute? I really like that. And now let's put some on the inside of the card as long as we're at it. Let's use this little flower stamp. It really matches the paper. Okay, we've got good coverage there. Oops, I didn't get as good of coverage there, but it's okay. It looks really nice. Isn't that just a cute card? I really like it. And I've got an envelope here for us too. Let's put this other flower that we used a minute ago on. And I'm going to get that extra ink off. Okay, and I'm just going to put that. Isn't that just cute? I really like this stamp set. I think it's very versatile. And now here's your card. And who wouldn't like to receive that? Isn't that just a really cute card? And you can see that it slides right into your envelope. It's a little bit thicker. And so if I were you, if it were me, I might put an extra stamp on, but not necessarily. You can weigh it and find out. But you just have to be real careful about sliding it into your envelope like that. So there's your card for today, the modified Z-fold card. And I want to thank you so much for stopping by today. It's been a pleasure to have you. And I hope you'll share, because I've got those real good prizes to share if you share, and I'll be happy to send them out to you. And then the one embossing folder is the one that I'm sending out to the winner today. So I hope you have a really nice weekend. Let me just pop back. Have a great weekend, and thank you so much for coming by today. Have fun crafting this weekend. Okay, bye-bye.